Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope that you're doing well. Today I'm going to be checking out 3 different clones of some really popular scents. These ones don't get talked about quite as much because when we're talking about clones, usually we're talking about Aroma and sometimes All Harmane. But today we're talking Onevent. I'm also going to be giving away one of these bottles from my collection, one of the clones of your choice. So let's jump into it. Let's check out some Onevent fragrances, some Onevent Supremacy fragrances. Let's see if they're any good. And guys, I got 2 of these fragrances from Max Aroma. If you're unaware of Max Aroma, they're a great discounter for niche and designer fragrances, adding stuff all the time. And I'll leave a link in the description to Max Aroma's website and also the fragrances from Max Aroma that I got. They're adding niche brands all the time. It seems like every week they've got new stuff popping on the website. So check them out and shout out to Max Aroma. All right, I've got 3 Onevent Supremacy fragrances here. And we'll start with the one that probably most of you are going to be aware of, and it clones the most cloned fragrance of all time. And that is scientifically proven by me. Or maybe not scientifically, but you know, I'm pretty sure. So the fragrance is this one, Onevent Supremacy Silver, and this is a clone of Creed's Aventus. Yeah, if you have a clone house, you can't really call yourself a clone house unless you cloned Aventus. It's like a rite of passage. You know, if you've not cloned Aventus, all the other clone houses are gonna look at you and be like, loser. You haven't cloned Aventus. And this one's one of those fragrances that is very obviously an Aventus clone. One of those things that you can just give it a little whiff from the atomizer and just go, oh yeah, I've smelled that before. Now I'll show you guys the presentation really quickly. The bottle is the same, the box is the same as far as the style of it. The only thing that differs is the color. I gotta say, I actually like it. It looks good. Now it is gonna be potentially a little bit hit or miss for some people, mainly because of the cap, I feel, but I like it. One thing you'll notice right away is that the boxes are really reflective, like a mirror. It's got kind of a metallic finish to it. I like the way it looks. On the front here, you have the name of the house, the name of the fragrance, the size, the concentration. Up at the top, you have Onevent in the corner, and you have a whole bunch of fleur-de-lis just all over the box. On the back, you have your ingredient information, and like Aroma fragrances, you have on the side your badge code. So this fragrance was produced March 2021, and they say it expires March 2026. And then on the bottom, you have a little more information and your barcode. Here we have the bottle. Like I said, I think it looks nice. I really like the coloration of the bottle. I like how you can see through it, but it has that kind of metallic finish once again. Got the name of the house, name of the fragrance right there on the front. You have this little seal as well. The cap, I don't really love it. That's the part that I think looks kind of weird, this ring around the cap, but it helps pulling it off, I guess. Now, Supremacy Silver says Onevent. On top of the cap, the others do not. On the bottom, says Onevent once again. And let me go ahead and waste a couple sprays for you guys. All right, here we go. Not too bad. Now, I'll also show you guys the presentation for the other bottles as we go through this, but I won't do it in that long drawn out way. But like I said before, presentation on all these actually is really nice. I think it's a little bit less gaudy than the Club de Nuit bottles from Aroma. You know, it's not as tacky. They look a little higher end. Now, Supremacy Silver. Is this one of the best Aventus clones that you can get? Because there's a lot of them. Yeah, there's a bunch. So Supremacy Silver, when you first spray this one on, it actually reminds me a little bit of some of the Pineapple Vintage releases. I can't tell you which one because there's about 30 of them, but it reminds me a little bit of those. It's fruity and woodsy at the same time, so you get a bit of pineapple in there and bergamot. It smells really appealing. There's some smokiness from birch, but not as much as what you're gonna find in Club de Nuit Intense. So Club de Nuit Intense, man, between the two, definitely gonna be more on the smoky side of things than this one is. You could say Supremacy Silver is pretty well balanced. You know, it doesn't go overly far onto the fruity side of things. It doesn't go all that far over to the smoky side of things. Off a tester strip, it actually smells like it might be a little bit smokier than it actually is once you spray it on your skin. And even though there's not a huge amount of smoke here, there is a good amount of woodiness. So the birch here ends up smelling more of just a woodsy kind of scent profile than it does a smoky woodsy like you'll find in Club de Nuit. Of course, you've got some other supporting notes in here like vanilla, a little bit of oak moss, jasmine, and rose as the fragrance dries down. On the whole, it's a very good Creed Aventus clone. I would say the majority of people probably still going to go toward Club de Nuit Intense, and that's going to be because Club de Nuit Intense does outperform Supremacy Silver. If we're just talking straight up performance, projection, longevity, it's a heavier fragrance. I would say though, if you're looking for a balanced Aventus, or Aventus clone, I should say, Supremacy Silver is a good choice. And that's because Supremacy Silver is, at the end of the day, just really balanced. It tries to do everything that Aventus does kind of right down the line. It's not trying too hard to be overly fruity or overly smoky. It's not trying to have anything really stick out. It's just trying to take everything that Aventus does and kind of get it all in the middle. So while I don't think that for the vast majority, like I said, it's going to overtake Club de Nuit, I think that it's a really good alternative, and it's one of the better Creed Aventus clones that I've smelled. Next up, let's do this one, Supremacy in Heaven. Now, I had no clue what this one was supposed to smell like. Actually, the first thing that I read about this was that somebody said it smelled like Aqua de Jo. And I remember thinking, well, that's kind of weird. Like, of all the things for them to clone, Aqua de Jo sells really well, but it's not insanely expensive. So I got it in, gave it a spray, and it's definitely not Aqua de Jo. What it is a clone of Silver Mountain Water. And this one I think is going to appeal to a lot of people for a few different reasons. So Supremacy Silver is roughly the same cost as Club de Nuit Intense. They're pretty close. Supremacy in Heaven is noticeably cheaper than Club de Nuit Sillage, which is Armav's best version of Silver Mountain Water. This one right now I think is in the $50 range, something like that. Maybe you can find it cheaper, but most places $50, $55. Whereas this one is going to be more in that $35 range. And you could probably find it a little bit less. There's also Derby Clubhouse Blanche from Armaf. The problem with that one, and that's a Silver Mountain Water clone, is the performance. It's not great. So if you get Derby Clubhouse Blanche and you're hoping that it's going to last 6, 7, 8 hours, you're probably going to be disappointed. Thankfully, Supremacy in Heaven doesn't have that issue. So this one lasts very well. It projects very well, which it has in common with Club de Nuit Sillage. They're both better performers than Derby Clubhouse Blanche. This one is a little bit, at least for me, like a sweeter take on Silver Mountain Water. So you end up not getting as much of that metallic feel that Silver Mountain Water has, that inky metallic vibe that it gives off. You don't get as much of that in Supremacy in Heaven. You do get more citrus, and like I said, it's more of a sweet citrus, and then a good amount of green tea. As it dries down, it's musky and woodsy. It actually smells really good, and I'd say that Supremacy in Heaven is, of this bunch, the biggest surprise for me. And I would say on the hierarchy of Silver Mountain Water clones, Supremacy in Heaven is definitely better than Derby Clubhouse Blanche. I think this is a better reach. Although if you do want more of that metallic feel, go with Derby Clubhouse Blanche. It's got more of that than this does. And between this and Club de Nuit Sillage, it's kind of a toss-up. Both are very good if you want something that's going to get you closer to just straight up how Silver Mountain Water smells. I'd go with Club de Nuit Sillage. But if you want something that's going to give you a similar feel to Silver Mountain Water, but a little bit smoother, maybe some people would say a little bit easier to wear, then check out the Offnod. And last but not least, Supremacy Incense. Again, from Offnod. Like all these bottles, love the look of it. I think this one I might like the most, actually. It looks really smooth. And this one is a clone of Interlude from Amouage. So of course, you're gonna get that incense, that smokiness in here. You're gonna get resinous sweetness. You're gonna get a little bit of oregano off the top, which some people don't really enjoy, but I think that this smells fantastic. There have been a number of Interlude clones that have popped up over the past number of years, and a lot of them are actually really, really, really good, surprisingly. You would think a fragrance like Interlude would be crazy hard to duplicate and do in a high quality way for cheap. but apparently that's not the case. I would say of all of the interlude clones or alternatives that I've smelled, that this one is my favorite for the price. It's sweet, it's rich, it's smoky, and it's wearable. It smells great. Performance, really good. Not as good as interlude, but I really wouldn't expect it to be. For fall and winter, Supremacy Incense is great, and it also crushes it in night out or formal type situations. So there we go, 3 different clones of very expensive fragrances, and I'll tell you guys, each one of these, very good. Afnan kind of flies under the radar. You know, they're not Armaf, they're not Haramain, they're not even Latafa, so they don't really, or Rasasi, so they don't really get talked about all that much, but they do have some fragrances that are very good and worth checking out. They also have some fragrances that completely suck though, so keep that in mind. So let's do the giveaway. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel. You have to like the video and leave a comment below, and just let me know which one of these 3 you would want and why. So again, Supremacy Silver, that is Creed Aventus, Supremacy in Heaven, that is Creed Silver Mountain Water, and Supremacy Incense, that is Amouage Interlude Man. In about 10 days, I'll pick a winner with random comment picker. If you're the winner, you'll see it because I'll post it up on the community tab, and all you have to do is hit me up with your shipping address, and I'll get your preferred choice out to you. So again, shout out to Max Aroma for Supremacy in Heaven and Supremacy Silver. Again, link in the description to their website and also these fragrances. Thanks guys for hanging out with me. Thanks for all your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you later.